Hidden within 33rd degree, deep knowledge lies forbidden knowledge that reshapes everything you believe about reality. It is here you discover the silent law that allows the universe to obey your inner command. Once seen, this truth cannot be unseen, and you will never experience life the same way again. 33rd degree, deep knowledge, introduction. The power that manifests worlds flows through you with each breath, each thought, each intention. This sacred knowledge has been guarded not by secret societies, but by humanity's own resistance to claiming its divine inheritance. The universe operates through precise spiritual mechanics, as exact as mathematics, as reliable as gravity. Your consciousness is not merely observing reality, it is the architect of it. When you grasp this truth at the deepest level of your being, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. The ancient masters understood that thought vibrations ripple through the quantum field like stones cast into still waters, creating patterns that solidify into physical form. This is not metaphor, but mechanism. Just as a tuning fork responds to its matching frequency, the universe aligns with your dominant vibration. Your thoughts and emotions are not abstract concepts floating in void. They are tangible forces that shape the very fabric of existence. The universe does not judge your desires. It simply matches your energetic signature with unwavering precision. What the mystics termed ascension was simply the progressive awakening to higher frequencies of consciousness. At each level of awareness, you gain greater command over the forces of creation, not through force or will, but through alignment and resonance. The power to shape reality was never taken from you. It has always been yours, waiting to be remembered and reclaimed. This knowledge was hidden in plain sight, coded into every spiritual tradition, every esoteric teaching. The time has come to step into this inheritance. Your imagination is not fantasy. It is the blueprint room of the universe. Your feelings are not reactions. They are the vibration that attracts corresponding realities. Your focus is not attention. It is the law that commands manifestation. This is your birthright. This is your power. This is the science of spirit made manifest through you. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Hidden Laws of Command. Chapter 1. The Law Behind the Law. In the temple of your heart lies a chamber where miracles take root, not through mere words, but through the sacred alchemy of belief. Your voice becomes a creative force only when it carries the weight of unwavering conviction. In days long past, a woman named Marjorie Gale Benson spoke affirmations with mechanical precision, her lips forming perfect words while her spirit remained unconvinced. Each morning and night she recited promises of prosperity, yet her reality stood unmoved, like a fortress impervious to whispers. It was only when she discovered the missing element, the vital force of belief, that the universe began to dance with her intentions. The ancient law reveals itself. Words alone are but empty vessels. It is the emotional current flowing through them that carries the power to reshape reality. When Marjorie finally allowed herself to feel the truth of her words, to experience them as already manifested, the locked doors of possibility swung open. This wisdom found another witness in Chester Boyd Hayden, a merchant whose lips spoke of abundance while his heart harbored doubt. His affirmations echoed hollow in the chambers of creation, until the day he learned to inhabit the feeling of his desired reality. Instead of begging the universe for prosperity, he began to experience it in the sanctuary of his imagination. In that moment of authentic believing, the command was released into the cosmic machinery. The universe responds not to what you say, but to what you believe. Faith is not blind hope. It is the knowing that precedes manifestation. When your words and beliefs align, you create a resonance that the universe must answer, for it is law. Tonight, as the world grows quiet, gift yourself this ancient practice. Find a place of solitude where you can connect with your innermost truth. Close your eyes and allow your breath to settle into a gentle rhythm. Choose one sentence, one truth you wish to manifest. Speak it aloud, not as a hope or wish, but as a reality you can touch with your heart. Feel its completion in every cell of your being. Let the emotion of its fulfillment wash through you until you sense the universe's silent acknowledgement. In this sacred moment of alignment, you become one with the creative force that shapes worlds. This is not merely ritual. It is the activation of universal law through the power of aligned belief. Chapter 2. The Secret Chamber of Thought. In the quiet shadows of a dimming afternoon, a merchant named Leona May Driscoll stood before her empty shop, convinced that misfortune had claimed permanent residence in her life. Each morning, she would wake to thoughts of failure, and each evening, those very thoughts seemed to manifest as unsold wares and mounting debts. Until one day, an ancient wisdom found its way to her through a weathered scroll, revealing a truth that would transform her understanding of thought itself. The scroll spoke of a fundamental principle. Thoughts are not wild horses that drag us through life, but faithful servants awaiting clear direction. Like water flowing through channels, thoughts follow the paths we carve for them. When Leona began to see her negative thoughts not as tormentors but as misguided helpers, everything changed. She learned to redirect them with the same patience a shepherd guides his flock. This truth extends beyond mere positive thinking. It speaks to the very architecture of creation. Your thoughts are not your masters unless you crown them as such. They are tools of manifestation, waiting to be shaped by your conscious intent. When you understand this, you hold the key to unlocking the universe's abundant storehouse. Franklin Ray Owen discovered this secret in the depths of his own mental storms. Rather than battling his thoughts, he transformed his mind into a sacred classroom. Each negative thought became an opportunity for guidance, each worry a chance to practice redirection. Where once he saw enemies in his thoughts, he now found willing students eager to align with his higher purpose. The power lies not in eliminating thoughts, but in their conscious direction. Like a skilled conductor leading an orchestra, you can guide the symphony of your mind toward harmonious creation. Each thought, when properly directed, becomes a note in the grand composition of your reality. This principle reveals itself in every moment of conscious awareness. Notice how your thoughts, like obedient servants, stand ready to carry out your true intentions. They await your direction, your loving guidance, your clear command. Throughout the day, pause and observe the wandering nature of your thoughts. When you notice them straying from your desired path, Gently guide them back, not with force, but with the loving authority of a wise teacher. Each redirection is not an act of control, but a spell of creation, a moment of aligning with the infinite power that flows through all things. Let each thought become a conscious choice, a deliberate step toward your chosen reality. In this practice lies the ancient art of manifestation, not through struggle, but through gentle, persistent guidance of the mind's infinite power. Practice. Throughout your day, pause at regular intervals, perhaps when the sun touches a certain point in the sky or when the clock strikes the hour. In these moments, notice your thoughts with the gentleness of a loving guardian. If they have wandered from your chosen path, guide them back with calm authority. Treat each redirection not as a correction of error, but as an act of creation, a sacred moment of aligning with your true power. Let each adjustment feel like the casting of a benevolent spell, weaving the reality you wish to manifest. Chapter 3. The Hidden Geometry of Energy. In the quietude of ancient wisdom lies a truth so fundamental it permeates every particle of existence. Your thoughts are not mere electrical impulses, but sacred geometries dancing through the fabric of reality. This knowledge, passed down through generations of mystics and sages, now emerges anew through modern understanding. Clara June Voss discovered this truth through an innocent practice. Each morning, she would trace intricate patterns in her notebook, allowing her hand to flow freely across the page. What began as simple meditation evolved into a profound revelation. These patterns matched the very frequencies of manifestation itself. The circles, spirals, and interconnected lines she drew weren't random expressions, but echoes of the universal language of creation. Within the sacred chamber of your mind lies this same creative power. Every thought you hold shapes invisible patterns in the quantum field, creating templates for physical manifestation. These patterns ripple outward, attracting corresponding energies and circumstances into your experience. Milton Lee Harrell's experience validates this ancient wisdom. After learning of vibrational geometry, he began visualizing luminous circles of golden light surrounding his business ventures. Soon he noticed a fascinating phenomenon. Meaningful coincidences multiplied around his projects. Important phone calls arrived at precise moments. Crucial partnerships formed effortlessly. Resources appeared exactly when needed. What Milton discovered was not coincidence, but cosmic law in action. By consciously projecting geometric thought forms, he aligned himself with the mathematical precision of universal forces. His visualization created an energetic blueprint that reality rushed to fulfill. These experiences unveil a profound truth. Consciousness itself is the architect of reality. Your every thought sends ripples through the quantum field, creating patterns that the universe recognizes and responds to. When you understand this, you realize that casual thinking is like speaking in whispers to the cosmos, but focused, geometrically aligned thought commands the very forces of creation. The universe isn't a chaotic collection of random events. It's an intricate tapestry of interconnected patterns, responding precisely to the geometric frequencies of your thoughts. Each mental pattern you hold becomes a template in the holographic field of possibility, drawing to you the experiences that match its frequency. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, envision your life as a radiant geometric design pulsing with golden light. See each pulse sending waves of harmonious energy through the fabric of reality. Know that with each breath, this sacred pattern is being encoded into the quantum field, recalibrating your reality to match its perfect frequency. Let this visualization be the last impression in your mind as you drift into sleep, allowing the universe to work through the sacred geometry of your consciousness. Chapter 4. The Frequency of Dominion. High in the mountains, Sarah Beth Connolly stood trembling before a stern monastery guardian who blocked her path. Years of conditioning had taught her to shrink in the presence of authority, to make herself small. Yet in that moment, a revelation stirred within her consciousness. Emotion itself was the true authority. Like ancient wisdom awakening from a long slumber, she recognized that the power she sought lay not in dominance over others, but in mastery of her own vibrational state. As she centered herself in this knowing, her presence shifted. The guardian's stern demeanor softened, and the path opened before her. This truth echoes through the ages. Dominion flows not from force, but from inner harmony. The universe responds not to demands, but to resonance. When you grasp this principle, you understand that true power lies in the ability to regulate your own energetic field. Ernest Paul Redding discovered this truth during a fateful voyage at sea. As storm clouds gathered and waves crashed against his small sailboat, his fellow sailors succumbed to panic. Yet Ernest, drawing upon an inner wellspring of calm, maintained his serenity. To the astonishment of all aboard, the tempest began to subside. The waves, responding to his steady vibration, gradually settled into gentle swells. Ernest had not fought the storm. He had transformed it through resonance. His calm acceptance created a field of peace that nature itself echoed back. This demonstrates a fundamental law. The outer world must align with your inner state when that state is held with unwavering certainty. To command reality is not to wage war against it, but to establish such profound inner stability that the universe has no choice but to mirror your equilibrium. True dominion emerges from neutrality, empowered by knowing, a state of being so aligned with universal law that reality naturally conforms to your consciousness. Ancient practice of vibrational command. When chaos manifests in your life, resist the urge to fight against it. Instead, become absolutely still within yourself. From this place of profound stillness, silently declare, "I command by calm." Hold this state of serene authority, knowing that your steady vibration will naturally reorganize the energetic field around you, transforming disorder into harmony. The storm must yield to your inner peace, for this is the law of vibrational dominion. Chapter 5. The Language of Energy. In the valleys of ancient Tibet, a wise woman named Vera Lou Truman discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of universal law. For years she had recited prayers with precise words, yet felt empty returns. One morning, as she watched the sun rise over snow-capped peaks, she began to hum her desires instead of speaking them. Within days, her life began shifting in remarkable ways. The wisdom revealed through her experience teaches us a fundamental truth. The universe responds not to our words, but to our vibrational signature. Emotion is the first language of creation, the original tongue spoken before human speech emerged. When you align your emotional frequency with your desire, you speak directly to the cosmic forces that shape reality. This truth found further validation through Irving Dale Lambert, a merchant who struggled with traditional manifestation techniques. His breakthrough came when he began singing his intentions softly to himself while working in his garden. He noticed that the gentler and more melodic his approach, the swifter the universal response. His business flourished not through forceful declarations, but through the subtle power of harmonious resonance. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not require elaborate vocabulary or perfect grammar. It reads the music of your being, the subtle vibrations of your emotional state. This is why two people can speak identical words, yet receive vastly different results. One speaks from the throat, while the other sings from the soul. Think of the universe as a vast musical instrument, continuously responding to the notes you play. Every thought, every feeling, creates a unique frequency. When you learn to attune your emotional tone to your desires, you master the art of cosmic harmony. This is not manifestation through force, but through resonance. Ancient practice. Close your eyes and select one desire. Rather than forming it into words, allow it to become a gentle hum or whisper. Let the vibration of your voice merge with the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. Continue until you sense the shift from mental concept to pure energy. This is the moment your desire enters the universal frequency field. Practice this sacred sound alignment daily, allowing your body to become the instrument through which the universe plays its manifestation symphony. Chapter 6. The Magnetic Law of Reciprocity. In a world where most clutch tightly to what they possess, the universal flow responds with equal constriction. Florence Jane Prine discovered this ancient truth through a simple shift in her daily interactions. Rather than calculating each gesture's return, she began offering genuine appreciation, kind words, and small acts of service freely, as naturally as a flower releases its fragrance. The universe operates through an exquisite system of energetic reciprocity. When you release your grip on outcomes, you activate a divine multiplication principle that transcends human arithmetic. Florence's transformation began with leaving anonymous gifts for neighbors, writing heartfelt notes of gratitude to strangers, and sharing her garden's bounty without keeping count. Within months, unexpected opportunities, resources, and connections flowed into her life from directions she could never have planned. This magnetic principle reveals itself through the law of energetic resonance. Your acts of giving create ripples in the universal field, which must, by cosmic law, return to their source. Yet the universe does not deal in simple mathematics. Roland Hugh Carter witnessed this phenomenon when he began practicing spontaneous appreciation. Each morning, he would find something or someone to genuinely praise: the baker's artistry with bread, a colleague's hidden talent, or the grace of a street sweeper's movements. As Roland maintained this practice, he noticed an unusual pattern emerging. Pleasant coincidences began multiplying in his life. A stranger would return his lost wallet with everything intact. A restaurant owner would serve him special dishes at no charge. Job opportunities appeared precisely when needed. He had unknowingly altered his vibrational signature through genuine praise, and the universe responded in kind. This mirror principle operates constantly, whether acknowledged or not. Every genuine expression of gratitude, each act of unconditional giving, sends forth an energetic signal that must find its reflection. Yet the key lies in the purity of intention. Giving must flow from authenticity rather than calculation. The universe speaks this language of energy with perfect fluency. When you release expectations and give from your essence, you align with the natural abundance of creation. This alignment manifests as a continuous cycle of giving and receiving, each amplifying the other in an endless spiral of expansion. Ancient practice. Choose one act of selfless appreciation each day. Express genuine gratitude, offer unexpected kindness, or share something valuable without attachment to return. As you perform this practice, focus on the pure joy of giving rather than anticipated results. Notice how the universe responds with its own forms of abundance, often in surprising ways. Feel the energetic boomerang returning softly, multiplying unseen through the perfect law of cosmic reciprocity. Chapter 7. The Portal of Gratitude. In ancient times, a sage wandered through a village where a woman named Ellen Grace Worsley dwelled in silent despair. Each morning she gazed at her meager surroundings, feeling the weight of lack pressing upon her spirit. Until one dawn, moved by an inexplicable urge, she began speaking her blessings aloud. I thank thee for the roof above, though humble. I thank thee for the bread upon my table, though simple. With each utterance, an invisible door within the fabric of existence creaked open. The universe operates through an immutable law. Gratitude serves as a quantum cipher, a sacred password that unlocks gateways to higher realms of possibility. When you voice appreciation for what exists in your present moment, you transcend the illusion of linear time. Your thankful heart sends ripples through the cosmic matrix, reorganizing probability itself. This truth manifested powerfully through Clyde Boyd Harlow, who discovered the alchemical force of preemptive gratitude. Before any evidence of change appeared in his life, he began penning thank you notes to the universe. I am grateful for the abundance now flowing into my life, he wrote, though his pockets remained empty. I thank you for the perfect health coursing through my body, he declared, while still feeling unwell. Within weeks, his reality began shifting to match his expressions of gratitude. The deeper teaching reveals that gratitude is not merely polite acknowledgement. It is living proof of faith before physical manifestation. When you thank the universe for that which has not yet materialized in form, you demonstrate absolute trust in the perfection of divine timing. This trust acts as a magnetic force, drawing your desired reality into alignment with your present moment. Your gratitude need not wait for external conditions to change. Indeed, it must precede them. Each thank you uttered in advance serves as a bridge between potential and manifestation. The universe responds not to desperate pleading, but to the absolute knowing expressed through grateful anticipation. The practice. As night falls, enter into sacred communion with the infinite. Speak your gratitude for that which you wish to manifest, as though it already exists in completed form. Continue this practice nightly until your nervous system fully accepts it as accomplished fact. Feel the subtle shift as your appreciation transforms from hopeful declaration to serene knowing. The universe, bound by its own laws, must then adjust reality to match your established vibrational state. Chapter 8. The Mirror of Emotion. In the bustling marketplace of a coastal town, Nancy Pearl Abbott's temper flared as predictably as the tides. Each slight provocation, a merchant's curt response, a stranger's accidental bump, a child's innocent question, ignited her fury until the day she encountered an aging mystic who changed everything. The wise woman simply smiled at Nancy's harsh words and said, "What you see before you is but a mirror of your inner tempest." This truth, though initially rejected, began to take root in Nancy's consciousness. The universe operates through an immutable law of reflection. Like a pristine lake showing you your own face, every interaction mirrors your dominant vibration. This is not punishment or reward, but the precise mechanism through which consciousness experiences itself. When you encounter discord in others, you are witnessing the echo of your own frequency. Those who step into your path, the impatient clerk, the angry driver, the dismissive colleague, are not random encounters, but precise reflections of your vibrational state. This truth liberates you from the illusion of victimhood and places the power of transformation directly in your hands. Sheridan Luke Phelps discovered this principle during his time as a teacher in a challenging school. Initially met with resistance and defiance, he noticed how his own tension contributed to classroom chaos. Rather than fighting against the discord, he began practicing inner stillness. As his emotional frequency shifted, so did his students' behavior, not through force or discipline, but through vibrational alignment. Each morning, Sheridan would sit in quiet contemplation before class, cultivating a state of peaceful acceptance. Gradually, the very students who had tested his patience began responding differently. Their resistance softened, not because he had changed them, but because he had changed himself. This ancient wisdom reveals that outer harmony cannot be achieved through control or confrontation. True change emerges when you recognize that every person in your experience is reflecting aspects of your own consciousness. Like Sheridan, you hold the key to transforming your encounters through the mastery of your internal state. The practice of emotional neutrality becomes your greatest tool for transformation. When triggered by others, pause and recognize the mirror being held before you. Their actions, whether pleasant or challenging, are showing you the frequency you are emanating into the universe. Before reacting, practice. When confronted with discord, pause and take 3 conscious breaths. Ask yourself quietly, what within me is being echoed by this situation? Allow this question to dissolve reactive patterns and heal discordant frequencies. In this space of awareness, you reclaim your power to choose a higher vibration, knowing that as you shift internally, your external reality must follow suit. Chapter 9. The Law of Focused Power. In a small village among ancient hills lived a weaver whose threads would always tangle before she could complete her tapestries. Each morning she would begin with fresh determination, only to abandon her work when new ideas beckoned. Her name was Lydia Rose Benton, and her unfinished projects filled every corner of her modest home. Half-written stories, partially woven rugs, and incomplete paintings that whispered of dreams left suspended in midair. Until one dawn, when an old mystic visited her village. Watching Lydia flit between her many works, the mystic shared a truth that would transform her life. The universe knows not what to manifest when attention scatters like leaves in the wind. But focus your gaze upon one leaf, and all the winds of creation will bring it to your feet. This revelation unveils one of the most potent laws governing manifestation. Disciplined attention serves as the lever that moves worlds. When your consciousness maintains steady focus upon a single point, You create a vortex of creative energy that draws substance from the formless into form. Like a magnifying glass focusing sunlight until it ignites, your sustained attention ignites the fires of manifestation. Consider how Owen Grant Kiefer, a merchant who yearned to build a fleet of trading ships, applied this principle. Each morning and evening, he would sit in perfect stillness, holding in his mind's eye the image of his ships cutting through azure waters. He felt the salt spray on his face, heard the snapping of sails in the wind, and experienced the joy of successful ventures, all within the theater of his focused imagination. Days turned to weeks, yet he maintained this practice with unwavering dedication. Soon, opportunities began appearing as if summoned by an invisible hand. A retiring captain offered to sell his vessel at a fraction of its worth. Experienced sailors sought employment before Owen had even announced his ventures. Contracts for cargo space materialized from unexpected sources. Reality itself seemed to knit a tapestry of circumstances around his concentrated vision. This truth reveals itself through countless examples. Unwavering concentration becomes a gravitational force that pulls possibility into physical expression. When you maintain steady focus upon your chosen aim, you create a blueprint in the ethereal realm that matter must eventually follow. The universe responds not to fleeting wishes, but to sustained attention powered by emotional conviction. Ancient practice. Choose one dream that calls to your soul. Each day, find a quiet moment and a comfortable seat. Allow your gaze to rest softly upon a mental image of this dream fully realized. Feel its reality with every sense available to your imagination. Let your emotions saturate this vision until its gravitational pull exceeds all distractions. Maintain this focus until you feel the subtle shift, the moment when your dream begins drawing itself into being through the power of your sustained attention. Chapter 10. The Key of Imagination. In the depths of winter, Ruby Faye Donovan lived in a small room with cracked walls and threadbare curtains. Yet each night she closed her eyes and felt silk sheets against her skin, heard birds singing through open windows, and breathed in the scent of blooming gardens. She didn't focus on money or wealth. Instead, she immersed herself in the feeling of peaceful abundance until her body tingled with its reality. The universe responds not to desperate wishes, but to completed visions held in unwavering faith. When you paint your desires in the studio of imagination, you aren't dreaming. You're drafting blueprints that the universal architect must follow. Your feeling-toned imagery becomes the raw material from which reality is forged. This truth revealed itself through Ambrose Dean Perry, who lay in a hospital bed with a diagnosis that promised no hope. Instead of fighting against illness, he filled his mind with images of vibrant health. Hour after hour, he saw himself walking through sunlit forests, felt strength flowing through his limbs, experienced the joy of effortless movement. His cells, receiving these pictures through the medium of belief, began restructuring themselves according to this new template. The power that moves through all creation speaks one language: imagery infused with emotional conviction. When you imprint a picture upon the cosmic substrate with sufficient feeling force, the atoms of existence have no choice but to rearrange themselves to match your vision. This is not wishful thinking, but universal law, the same law that holds planets in orbit and blooms flowers in spring. Your imagination is not a fantasy chamber, but a cosmic drafting table. Every image you hold with sustained attention becomes a mold into which universal energy must flow. This is why casual daydreams yield no results, while visions backed by absolute conviction manifest with mysterious precision. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and build your next miracle in vivid detail within your mind's eye. See its colors, hear its sounds, feel its textures until it becomes more real than your present circumstances. Fill this vision with such certainty that your whole body hums with its truth. Then, like releasing a balloon into a perfect sky, let it float free into the universe, knowing it has no choice but to materialize. The universal law demands nothing less than the perfect reflection of your inner image. Part 2. The Art of Universal Resonance. Chapter 11. The Hidden Science of Vibration. In a small town among ancient hills, Lottie Mae King spent years reciting mantras and affirmations without understanding their deeper mechanism. Night after night, she would faithfully repeat sacred phrases passed down through generations, yet their power remained a mystery, until the moment she felt rather than spoke them. The universe operates through resonance, not through words alone. When you grasp this eternal truth, you begin to understand that every thought, every feeling, every breath carries a specific vibration. These vibrations are not mere abstract concepts. They are the fundamental building blocks of physical reality. Your body is an instrument of unimaginable precision, capable of transmitting frequencies that shape the very fabric of existence. Each cell vibrates in harmony with your dominant thoughts. Each atom dances to the rhythm of your emotional state. The ancients understood this science of vibration long before modern physics confirmed that all matter is energy in motion. Ellis Reed Morton discovered this truth through simple observation. During his morning meditations, he began to synchronize his breath with his thoughts, creating a unified field of intention. Soon he noticed a subtle tingling sensation, as if countless particles of light were awakening around him. What began as a gentle awareness grew into clear knowing. His physical form was acting as a broadcasting station, sending precise frequencies into the universal field. The key lies not in the volume of your voice or the complexity of your practice, but in the purity of your resonance. When thought, emotion, and physical sensation align, you create a powerful trinity of manifestation. This alignment acts as a mold into which formless energy can flow, taking on the shape of your conscious intention. Your physical body serves as more than mere flesh and bone. It is a sacred instrument, a living antenna that receives and transmits vibrational information. Every cell holds the potential to participate in this grand orchestration of reality. When you understand this, you realize that manifestation is not about forcing change through will, but about becoming a clear channel through which universal energy can flow. Ancient practice of vibrational alignment. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and begin to hum softly, any tone that feels natural to you. As you hum, visualize your desired outcome taking physical form. Feel the vibration of your voice resonating through your entire body. Imagine your skin as a sacred antenna, broadcasting this frequency into the universe. Continue for several minutes, allowing your entire being to become a transmitter of pure, creative energy. The universe in its infinite wisdom, will begin shaping matter according to your vibrational command. Chapter 12. The Circle of Cause and Reflection. In a remote mountain village, there lived a wise woman who spoke of circles in the air. She drew them with her finger, teaching travelers that every thought returns like a spinning wheel to its source. Those who understood grew prosperous. Those who dismissed her wisdom watched their troubles cycle endlessly. The universe operates through precise vibrational mathematics. Each thought you release travels outward like a ripple, touching the shores of possibility before returning to its origin. This eternal law reveals why life seems to repeat its lessons until consciousness shifts. When you blame external circumstances, you remain blind to the circular nature of creation. Your thoughts are not separate from your experience. They are the very substance from which your reality is woven. The past does not create your present. Your present understanding of the past creates your future. Consider how Hilda Clare Bowers lived trapped in patterns of misfortune until she traced each event to its mental source. Where others saw random fate, she discovered precise causation. Her financial struggles reflected deep-seated beliefs about scarcity. Her strained relationships mirrored inner conflicts. Once she recognized these connections, the power to alter her life revealed itself. The law operates with mathematical precision. Your dominant thoughts multiply into experience, yet this process occurs not in linear time, but in spherical movements. Each thought returns bearing the fruit of its vibration. Darrell Scott Newton proved this principle when he finally forgave his troubled past. For years, similar challenges repeated: betrayal in business, loss in love, setbacks in health. But the moment he released judgment of old wounds, the cycles broke. His consciousness shifted from victim to creator, and new possibilities emerged. This ancient truth whispers, you cannot escape patterns through resistance. Freedom arrives through recognition. When you see how your inner state creates outer circumstance, the spell of unconscious repetition dissolves. A farmer may curse the soil for poor crops, never realizing his own thoughts have salted the earth. A merchant might blame the market, while his expectations literally shape customer behavior. Yet, when understanding dawns, transformation follows naturally. In a weathered temple wall, an inscription reads, "The circle ends where awareness begins." Your recurring challenges are not punishment, but feedback. They reveal with perfect accuracy the vibration you maintain. Interpretation. The echo of consciousness teaches that life reflects your deepest beliefs with flawless precision. When patterns repeat, they signal an opportunity to shift inner cause rather than fight outer effect. The power lies not in controlling circumstances, but in recognizing their source in thought. Practice. Choose one challenge that repeatedly appears in your life. Rather than resisting it, thank it sincerely for showing you what vibration you've been maintaining. Then compose a new inner statement that reflects the reality you wish to create. Speak this truth daily, knowing the circle of creation will faithfully return its essence to you. Chapter 13. The Art of Non-Resistance. In a small mountain village, there lived a weaver named Rosa Nell Jameson. Each morning she would battle with her loom, forcing threads into submission, cursing when they tangled. The more she fought, the more her work suffered, until her tapestries became known for their tight, uneven patterns. Her struggle extended beyond her craft. She pushed against every obstacle, turned each setback into a war, until exhaustion left her slumped beside her silent loom. One dawn, as sunlight painted her workshop golden, Rosa noticed a spider weaving. The creature moved with fluid grace, neither rushing nor resisting. When a breeze disrupted its web, the spider waited, then resumed its work with unchanged serenity. In that moment, Rosa understood. Her resistance had been the true obstacle. The universe operates through divine timing, an eternal dance of expansion and contraction. When you struggle against its rhythm, you create friction that slows your desired manifestations. Like a river meeting a boulder, energy diverts around resistance, taking longer routes to its destination. Yet when you surrender to the flow, miracles unfold with effortless grace. Everett James Dalton discovered this truth during a period of profound uncertainty. As a merchant facing financial ruin, his initial response was to grasp tightly at control. He worked longer hours, made desperate plans, and fought against the changing tides of commerce. But success remained elusive until the day he released his iron grip on outcomes. Instead of forcing solutions, Everett began moving with the natural current of circumstances. He listened to subtle promptings, followed unexpected opportunities, and trusted the wisdom of timing. What seemed like setbacks revealed themselves as redirections toward greater prosperity. His business not only survived, but thrived in ways he could never have planned. This ancient wisdom reveals that manifestation flows most powerfully through the channels of acceptance. When you resist what is, you create energetic blockages that prevent what could be. Surrender is not passive resignation, but active alignment with universal forces. It is the understanding that the cosmos operates through perfect timing, and your role is to flow with its wisdom rather than fight against its current. The true mastery of creation lies not in forcing reality to bend to your will, but in becoming so fluid that you move in harmony with divine timing. Every seeming obstacle carries within it the seeds of greater opportunity, visible only to those who have learned to trust the unfolding of events. Practice. When tension arises, exhale softly and affirm, "I float with cosmic rhythm," letting harmony steer circumstances. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Power of Alignment. In the depths of winter, a woman named Geneva Ray Winfield discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of manifestation. Each morning, she would write her desires in her journal, speak affirmations, and visualize her goals. Yet her achievements remained elusive until she uncovered the missing element: emotional consistency. The ancient wisdom reveals that manifestation accelerates when thoughts, words, and feelings align in perfect harmony. Like a musical chord whose notes blend in perfect resonance, your creative power magnifies when every aspect of your being vibrates at the frequency of your desired reality. Geneva had always maintained positive thoughts and spoken empowering words, but her feelings often betrayed an underlying doubt. When she learned to sustain the emotion of already having what she desired, her reality shifted with remarkable speed. Within weeks, opportunities appeared that had seemed impossible for years. The universal law operates through this principle. Your dominant vibration must match your desired outcome across all levels of being. Think of it as tuning an instrument. Every string must be precisely adjusted to create pure harmony. When your thoughts say yes, while your emotions whisper maybe, you create discord in the cosmic frequency. Howard Leon Prentice demonstrated this principle with stunning clarity. Rather than merely visualizing success, he began to embody it in every moment. He walked, spoke, and carried himself as though his dreams had already manifested. His alignment was so complete that reality had no choice but to conform to his vibration. His experience teaches us that the universe responds not to what we want, but to what we are. When you achieve vibrational consistency, when your thoughts, words, and feelings harmonize perfectly with your desired state, manifestation accelerates beyond ordinary limits. This acceleration occurs because coherence creates a clear channel for universal energy to flow. Like water finding the path of least resistance, manifestation energy moves swiftly through aligned consciousness. Any discord, doubt, or emotional contradiction acts as a dam, slowing the natural flow of creation. The ancient practice. Throughout the day, pause to align your emotional state with your fulfilled desire. Breathe as though you are already living your dream. When you walk, move with the confidence of someone who has received their blessing. Let your voice carry the authority of accomplishment. Match every feeling to the scenario already achieved, breathing as its living owner. In this way, you become an unobstructed channel for manifestation's swift current. Chapter 15. The Alchemy of Emotion. In an ancient monastery among mist-shrouded peaks, Pearl June Drummond discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of emotional energy. For years she had fought against her tears, seeing them as weakness, until one morning, when the sun's rays pierced through stained glass windows, creating a rainbow that seemed to speak directly to her soul. The teaching whispers of a sacred alchemy. Emotions are not burdens to be discarded, but raw materials awaiting transformation. Like the master craftsman who knows that ore must pass through flame to yield precious metal, your feelings serve as the crucible of creation. Each wave of emotion carries pure potential, neither positive nor negative, until shaped by conscious intent. Murray Boyd Clayton embodied this wisdom when his heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Instead of drowning in sorrow, he gathered each fragment like precious stones, polishing them into verses that reached across continents. His pain, transformed through creative expression, became a healing balm for countless others who found their own reflection in his words. The universe responded not to his suffering, but to the elevated frequency of his transmutation. This revelation unveils the hidden mechanism behind emotional mastery. It is not the suppression of feeling that yields power, but its conscious refinement. Your tears hold the same creative force as your joy. Your anger contains the same potential as your peace. The secret lies not in what you feel, but in how you direct that feeling's flow. When waves of emotion surge through your being, remember they arrive not to torment, but to transform. Each feeling represents pure energy seeking expression, like clay awaiting the potter's hands. Your consciousness serves as the artist, capable of molding any emotional intensity into shapes of beauty and purpose. The practice of emotional alchemy. When powerful emotions arise, Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply into the sensation, neither fighting nor feeding it. Visualize the feeling as pure golden light, intense but neutral. Now, with each breath, imagine this energy flowing through your heart, being refined and redirected into whatever form serves highest good, perhaps as healing light for others, as creative inspiration, or as fuel for positive change. Continue until you feel the shift from raw emotion to purposeful power. In this sacred practice, you'll discover that no feeling is wasted. All is energy awaiting your conscious direction. Chapter 16. The Infinite Mirror. In a small mountain village, Nina Bell Farrow stood before her window each morning, watching clouds gather and disperse. For years, she blamed external circumstances for her troubles until she noticed a peculiar pattern. The weather seemed to match her moods with uncanny precision. On days when storms raged in her heart, thunder rolled across the valley. When peace filled her being, sunlight danced through parting clouds. The ancient scrolls speak of a truth so fundamental it often escapes notice. Your inner realm orchestrates the outer. The world you perceive is not creating your experience. Your experience is creating the world you perceive. This mystery lies at the heart of all manifestation, yet remains hidden in plain sight. Theodore Jack Hollands discovered this truth through necessity rather than choice. His business faced collapse, his relationships crumbled, and misfortune seemed to stalk his every step. In desperation, he retreated to his garden, where an unexpected wisdom bloomed. Instead of fighting against circumstances, he began tending to his inner garden first. As he cleared the weeds of bitterness from his thoughts and planted seeds of possibility in their place, his external reality shifted with startling swiftness. Within weeks, opportunities appeared as naturally as flowers opening to morning light. Those who had opposed him became allies, and closed doors swung wide. Nothing in his outer world had changed until he adjusted the lens through which he viewed it. This simple shift in perspective altered the frequency of his entire existence. The universe operates as a perfect mirror, reflecting back the dominant vibration you hold within. When you perceive lack, you project lack. When you perceive abundance, you project abundance. The mirror never initiates. It only reflects with absolute fidelity. Understanding this mechanism liberates you from the illusion of external causation. Your consciousness serves as the projector, your beliefs the film, and the world around you the screen. Change the film, and the projection must change. This is cosmic law. Every circumstance, every encounter, every event emerges from the template you hold in your inner chamber of creation. The practice of inner reflection. Throughout your day, pause to observe external events as messages about your inner programming. When challenges arise, ask yourself, what belief within me has drawn this experience? Rather than judging what you find, gently adjust your inner narrative. If you notice thoughts of limitation, reshape them into possibilities. If you find fear, cultivate trust. Watch with wonder as your outer world transforms to match your inner adjustments, revealing the perfect synchronicity between within and without. Chapter 17. The Hidden Current of Time. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Audra Lee Potter watched sand trickle through an hourglass, her heart racing with each falling grain. The more she fixated on time's passage, the faster it seemed to slip away. Yet in that moment of despair, she stumbled upon an ancient truth that would transform her relationship with time forever. The universe operates not by mechanical chronology, but through the eternal now. Time, like a river, appears to flow in one direction only to those standing on its banks. Yet for those who understand its deeper nature, time reveals itself as an infinite ocean of possibility, responding to the consciousness that perceives it. When you feel rushed, notice how minutes compress and hours vanish. When you enter states of pure presence, time expands like a breath held in perfect stillness. This is no coincidence, but evidence of time's true nature as a servant of awareness rather than its master. Rufus Dale Morgan discovered this truth while preparing an important presentation. As deadlines loomed and pressure mounted, he found himself trapped in time's merciless march. Then, in a moment of surrender, he allowed himself to sink into complete absorption with his work. In that state of immersion, something remarkable occurred. Time ceased its tyranny. Hours unfolded with generous grace, and what seemed impossible to accomplish revealed itself as perfectly achievable. His experience unveils a profound secret. Time is not a fixed medium, but a malleable dimension that bends to the quality of your attention. When you release the anxious grip of time-bound thinking, you enter a state of timelessness where all things become possible. This understanding liberates you from the illusion of time's scarcity. Your relationship with time transforms from that of a desperate servant to a conscious creator. Each moment becomes pregnant with infinite potential, awaiting your direction. The ancient practice passed down through generations reveals this truth. Time responds not to clocks, but to consciousness. When you align with the eternal now, chronological time bows to your presence. This is not mystical thinking, but a practical application of universal law. Sacred practice. Throughout your day, consciously slow your movements. Feel the air entering your lungs, the ground beneath your feet. Let each breath become a gateway to timelessness. Move as though you are flowing through honey, treating each action as a complete universe unto itself. Notice how time expands to meet your conscious presence, proving that you are its master, not its victim. In this deliberate dance with the eternal now, you will discover that time is not a countdown to be feared, but a canvas awaiting your masterful strokes. Chapter 18. The Equation of Desire. In a small cottage by the sea, Ida Ruth Clemens paced endlessly, her heart aching with desires unfulfilled. Each morning she would gaze at the horizon, her wishes burning so intensely they seemed to scorch her from within. The more desperately she yearned, the more life withheld its gifts, until one stormy evening when lightning illuminated an ancient truth. The universe responds not to the heat of wanting, but to the peace of knowing. Like water that cannot be grasped tightly in a fist but flows freely through open fingers, manifestation requires a delicate balance between desire and detachment. When you clutch too tightly at your dreams, you create resistance in the very fabric of creation. This sacred principle reveals itself in every aspect of nature. Notice how flowers bloom without strain, how birds soar without questioning the wind. Your desires must follow this same natural law, ignited by passion, yet released with trust. The flame of wanting serves as the initial spark, but only surrender allows the energy to flow unimpeded through the channels of manifestation. Walter Clyde Harmon discovered this truth through love itself. Having endured years of loneliness, he learned to love deeply while remaining unattached to outcomes. He blessed those who came into his life and blessed them equally as they departed. Soon, he found himself surrounded by more love than he had ever known, not because he had finally captured it, but because he had learned to let it flow freely. The universe mirrors this wisdom in countless ways. The tide neither begs nor demands. It simply moves in perfect rhythm, receiving and releasing in eternal dance. Your consciousness must embody this same fluidity. Let your desires burn bright enough to set intention, then release them to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all creation. When you find yourself gripping too tightly to an outcome, remember that manifestation occurs in the space between yearning and surrender. Your role is not to force reality into submission, but to align with its natural flow. The warmth of your desire creates the initial momentum, but only detachment allows that energy to transmute into physical form. Practice. Tonight, seat yourself in quiet solitude. Visualize your deepest desire with crystal clarity. Feel its reality with every sense. Let the feeling build until it fills your entire being. Then, with a gentle smile, release it completely as you would a lantern into the night sky. Trust that what you have released with love must return, drawn back by the magnetic force of detached creation. This ancient practice reveals the hidden current between desire and manifestation where true power flows. Chapter 19. The Science of Faith. Dorothy K. Mendenhall walked into her study each morning with meticulous attention. She recorded every intention, affirmation, and result in leather-bound journals spanning decades. A mathematician by training, she approached the mysteries of manifestation with the precision of scientific inquiry. Her skepticism served not as barrier, but as foundation for discovery. Through years of observation, she uncovered an astonishing truth. When sustained belief reached a certain threshold, manifestation followed with mathematical certainty. The universe, she noted, responded not to sporadic wishes, but to maintain frequencies of expectation. Each miracle, once mapped, revealed itself as the natural outcome of unwavering assumption. The teaching emerges clear. Faith is not blind hope, but repeated assumption proving itself through pattern. Just as water consistently boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, reality consistently yields to sustained belief at specific thresholds of conviction. Garnet Roy Klein embodied this principle during the Great Market Crash. While others panicked, he maintained an unshakable knowing that his investments would flourish. Despite mounting evidence of financial collapse, he held his mental position with the stillness of absolute certainty. Month after month, as others lost fortunes, his portfolio defied economic laws, growing steadily against all odds. His experience illuminates the deeper truth. Unwavering assumption becomes law. The universe does not respond to what we hope for, but to what we accept as done. When certainty reaches absolute levels, probability bends to meet it. This reveals the sacred equation of desire. Sustained belief plus time equals manifested reality. The duration required varies inversely with the intensity of conviction. Perfect faith manifests instantly. Partial faith manifests gradually. The key lies not in the wanting, but in the knowing. You stand now at the threshold of this power. Each doubt that arises presents an opportunity to strengthen your command of reality. When uncertainty whispers, answer with calm authority. It is already resolved. Let this response become reflexive, automatic, as natural as breathing. Feel certainty overriding probability with each declaration. Ancient practice. Throughout your day, whenever doubt arises about any situation, pause and declare with quiet authority, "It is already resolved." Do not argue with circumstances. Simply maintain your position of knowing. Let this practice continue until certainty becomes your natural state. The universe has no choice but to conform to your sustained assumption. Chapter 20. The Gate of the Spoken Word. In a small coastal village, Mattie Sue Langford watched her garden wither each time she participated in the morning market's chatter. Her flowers, once vibrant and alive, seemed to droop with every careless word she spoke about others. For years, she dismissed this pattern until an ancient wisdom stirred within her consciousness. Through silent observation, she discovered that words carried a tangible force, each syllable releasing waves of energy into the fabric of creation. When she spoke with kindness and purpose, her garden flourished. When she engaged in idle talk, her plants responded as if touched by frost. This revelation transformed her understanding of speech as a sacred tool of manifestation. The universe speaks in frequencies, and your words are not mere sounds but vibrational commands. Every utterance sends ripples through the quantum field, organizing particles according to your declaration. Your tongue is an instrument of creation, each word a note in the symphony of manifestation. Norman Hayes Tilly exemplified this truth when he began carefully selecting his words. As a merchant facing bankruptcy, he replaced phrases like, "I'm struggling with prosperity flows naturally." He spoke each word with the precision of an architect drawing blueprints. Within months, unexpected opportunities appeared, as if summoned by the new frequencies he broadcast. The power lies not in the words themselves, but in the energetic signature they carry. When you speak of lack, you transmit lack's frequency. When you declare abundance, you emanate abundance's vibration. The universe, being pure energy, responds not to your vocabulary, but to your vibrational output. Speech is the bridge between thought and form. Your words crystallize intention into matter, following the same laws that govern all creation. Each statement you make is a mold into which universal energy flows. This is why masters of manifestation guard their speech as carefully as they guard their thoughts. Ancient practice. Today, speak only in terms of completion. Replace "I want" with "I have," "I hope" with "I know." Feel each word resonating with the certainty of universal law. Let your speech become a sacred instrument, each phrase aligned with the blueprint of your desired reality. Monitor your words as if they were spells, for in truth, they are exactly that, commands to the cosmic force that shapes all things. Part 3. The Mastery of Creative Command. Chapter 21. The Architect Within. In the ancient texts, there lies a tale of Cecilia Ann Rivers, who once walked through life believing the world around her was fixed and immovable. Each morning, she saw the same gray buildings, encountered the same unfriendly faces, and felt trapped within circumstances she thought beyond her control. Yet one autumn morning, as leaves danced in spirals before her eyes, wisdom awakened within her heart. She understood that reality was not a prison, but a canvas awaiting her conscious touch. The buildings, the faces, the very air around her, all were responding to an architect dwelling within her own consciousness. This revelation unveils a fundamental truth. Your environment is not separate from you, but an extension of your inner workshop. Every detail you observe, from the pattern of clouds above to the arrangement of objects on your desk, exists in perfect resonance with your deeper expectations and beliefs. Felix Dean Morrow discovered this when he began speaking to himself with renewed dignity and purpose. Where once he saw a city dulled by routine, his shifted inner dialogue painted fresh colors across familiar scenes. Store windows gleamed more brightly, strangers offered unexpected smiles, and opportunities emerged from seemingly solid walls. He had not changed his location. He had altered his broadcast. This mechanism operates with precise reliability. Your world restructures itself to match your dominant inner conversation. The streets you walk are not mere paths of concrete, but living extensions of your consciousness, reshaping themselves according to the blueprint of your thoughts and words. Your environment serves as a mirror, reflecting back the sum of your moment-to-moment assumptions. When you speak of limitation, the world conspires to prove you right. When you declare abundance, reality rearranges its elements to display prosperity. This is not metaphor, but mechanism, the exact science of creation expressing itself through the laboratory of your daily life. Practice. Pause now and observe your immediate surroundings. See each object, each shadow and light, as a brushstroke you have painted through your conscious and unconscious expectations. Begin to speak silent words of appreciation for every detail your eyes touch. Watch as the atmosphere begins to shift, as if invisible particles are awakening to your recognition. Continue this practice until you witness the physical environment responding with a subtle but unmistakable glow, the visible evidence of your creative command being acknowledged by the universe itself. Remember, you are not merely observing reality. You are actively designing it with every thought you think and every word you speak. The world around you is your faithful servant, waiting to be reshaped by your conscious direction. Chapter 22. The Seal of Intention. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Della Ray Hubbard stood before a fountain tossing coin after coin, each accompanied by a different wish. For months she scattered her intentions like seeds in the wind, yet nothing took root. One evening, as she reached for another coin, an inner voice whispered, "The universe responds not to quantity, but to certainty." The truth emerges with crystalline clarity. The power lies not in endless repetition, but in singular, unwavering decision. When you scatter your creative force across multiple desires, you dilute the very energy required for manifestation. The universe awaits not numerous requests, but one sealed commitment. Just as water finds its inevitable path once a channel is carved, reality arranges itself around a firmly planted decision. Your role is not to repeatedly ask, but to decide with such finality that the universe has no choice but to comply. This is the hidden mechanism behind what appears as miraculous manifestation. One unshakable decision activates all universal forces simultaneously. Vernon Cole Jarrett understood this principle when he faced the seemingly impossible task of establishing a shelter for abandoned children. Rather than repeatedly wondering about funding and logistics, he sealed his decision in a single moment of absolute knowing. He didn't ask how. He simply knew it was done. Within days, anonymous donors appeared, volunteers offered services, and a suitable building became available at a fraction of its worth. The universe operates with mathematical precision. When you scatter your creative energy across multiple wishes, each receives only a fraction of potential power. But when you unify your force through one sealed decision, you create a gravitational pull strong enough to rearrange physical reality. This is not about hoping or wishing. It is about deciding with the same certainty with which you know the sun will rise. Just as a master architect doesn't repeatedly question if a building will stand once the blueprint is finalized, you must seal your intention with similar finality. The moment you truly decide, not wish, not hope, but decide, all universal forces begin their perfect orchestration. Your role then becomes maintaining the unshakable knowing that what you have decreed is already accomplished in the invisible realm, awaiting its perfect moment of physical expression. Practice. Tonight, in perfect solitude, speak your intention once with absolute finality. Feel the seal of completion in your solar plexus. Then release all need to repeat or reaffirm. Your decision is law, requiring only your steady knowing as it materializes in perfect timing. Chapter 23, The Light Field of Consciousness. In ancient times, Leah June Pritchard walked through life feeling the weight of shadows upon her spirit. Each interaction seemed to drain her energy until she uncovered a sacred practice passed down through generations of mystics. She began meditating on light, not merely visualizing it, but allowing her consciousness to merge with its essence. As days passed, a remarkable transformation unfolded. Every conversation began to shimmer with newfound brilliance. Each encounter radiated with purpose. She noticed that when she maintained this inner luminescence, circumstances arranged themselves with uncanny grace. The universe operates through waves of light, not just the visible spectrum that greets your physical eyes, but subtle frequencies that respond to the light of awareness itself. Your consciousness acts as both transmitter and receiver in this grand dance of energy. When you attune yourself to light, you activate the hidden mechanisms of creation that have existed since time immemorial. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions generate specific light frequencies that ripple through the quantum field. These vibrations interface with the underlying matrix of reality, instructing it how to arrange physical circumstances. This is not metaphor, but mechanism. The same principle that allows plants to transmute sunlight into matter through photosynthesis operates at all levels of creation. Edgar Joel Winslow applied this wisdom in his humble workroom, where inspiration had grown stagnant. Rather than forcing creativity, he began each morning by visualizing golden light filling every corner of his space. He felt this radiance passing through his body, cleansing his energy field of doubt and limitation. Within days, fresh ideas began flowing with remarkable ease. His projects took on new life, attracting opportunities and resources as if by magnetic force. The light he cultivated within had begun reshaping his external reality. This ancient teaching reveals that light is more than illumination. It is living information that responds to conscious direction. When you elevate your inner light, You literally alter the instructions being transmitted to the field of infinite possibility. Your radiance becomes a sculpting force, molding circumstance through the power of enlightened awareness. Timeless practice. Sit quietly and imagine a sphere of radiant energy extending outward from your heart center. Feel this sphere of light growing steadily larger, harmonizing the energy of everyone you encounter. Let this practice remind you that you are not merely a physical being, but a generator of light frequencies that shape the very fabric of reality. Maintain this sphere of radiance throughout your day, observing how circumstances begin to align with your luminous presence. Stop here as per instructions. This completes the key elements requested: Leah's story about light meditation, the core teaching about light as information, Edgar's story about golden light visualization, and the specific practice prompt provided. Chapter 24. The Crystal Mind. In ancient times, a merchant named Phoebe Nell Garland wandered the marketplace of her mind, examining each thought as though it were a precious stone held up to sunlight. With each passing day, she noticed how some thoughts sparkled with pristine clarity while others remained clouded and dull. Through patient observation, she discovered that the clearer her mental vision became, the swifter her desires manifested into reality. The universal law reveals itself. Mental clarity acts as a magnifying lens, focusing the diffuse light of intention into a concentrated beam of manifestation. Just as sunlight passing through crystal creates intense heat, thoughts refined to perfect clarity generate tremendous creative power. The universe responds not to the volume of your desires, but to their crystalline purity. When your mind resembles a still pool of water, undisturbed by ripples of doubt or confusion, reality reflects your intentions with mirror-like precision. Each thought, when held in absolute clarity, becomes a command that the universe must obey. This is not mysticism, but precise spiritual science. The clearer the signal, the stronger the transmission. Consider the wisdom revealed through Clyde Ross Tanner, who simplified his aspirations until each goal shone like a solitary star in a night sky. Where others scattered their energy across countless wishes, he distilled his desires to their purest essence. As he refined his focus, the universe responded with increasing speed and accuracy. His experience proves that simplicity accelerates manifestation. The fewer the thoughts, the greater their power. Your mind holds this same crystalline potential. When mental clutter dissolves, leaving only pristine clarity, your thoughts acquire the force of natural law. Like light passing through a flawless crystal, clear intention pierces through all obstacles, manifesting with inevitable precision. The truth becomes self-evident. Clarity equals power. Each thought, when stripped of confusion and doubt, becomes a command that reality must follow. The universe responds not to complexity, but to crystalline simplicity. Your task is not to think more thoughts, but to think clearer ones. Ancient practice of crystal clarity. In absolute stillness, write a single desire on paper using the fewest possible words. Close your eyes and hold this thought in your mind's eye until all other mental activity ceases. Feel its presence becoming as clear as pure crystal, allowing all else to dissolve into calm brightness. Maintain this clarity until you sense your desire transforming from thought into living energy. The universe will receive this crystalline command with perfect understanding, initiating immediate manifestation. Chapter 25. The Royal Law of Assumption. In a quiet seaside town, Iris Lou Webb discovered an ancient truth that would transform not just her life, but the very fabric of reality around her. Each morning she adorned herself not with jewels, but with the invisible crown of supreme confidence. She walked through her days as though her deepest aspirations had already manifested, carrying herself with the quiet dignity of one who knew their rightful place in the universe. The power of assumption flows through existence like an underground river, shaping the visible world according to its secret currents. When you assume a state of being, you command the universe not through force but through resonance. Your very presence becomes a decree, your consciousness a scepter of creation. Leonard Jean Bright embodied this wisdom when he faced financial ruin. Instead of shrinking before circumstances, he chose to live as his future self would live. He maintained the posture, speech, and bearing of a successful entrepreneur, even while his business teetered on the edge. He answered phones with the assured tone of prosperity, arranged his office as though clients already filled his calendar, and signed documents with the flourish of one who knew abundance intimately. Within weeks, opportunities appeared as though summoned by an invisible hand. Clients materialized, contracts manifested, and resources aligned with supernatural precision. Leonard had not changed his external actions. He had shifted his assumed identity, and the universe rushed to match his frequency. This teaching unveils a fundamental truth. Your assumed state broadcasts a frequency that reality must echo, like a track slike across the quantum field of infinite possibility. The persona you wear in the secret chamber of your mind becomes the template for physical manifestation. The universe operates as a mirror, but it reflects your deepest assumptions rather than your surface thoughts or fleeting wishes. When you genuinely assume a state of being, you transmit a clear signal that draws corresponding circumstances into your orbit. This is not pretense or imagination. It is the activation of universal law through consciousness. Ancient practice of assumed identity. Choose a moment when you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel yourself stepping into the full embodiment of your fulfilled desire. Assume the posture, breathing pattern, and inner knowing of one who has already achieved their heart's calling. Let this assumed identity fill every cell of your being. Move through your day from this elevated frequency, knowing that as you maintain this sovereign vibration, the world will reshape itself to match your assumed truth. You are not playing a role. You are awakening to your authentic power as a conscious creator in the universe. Chapter 26. The Code of Symbols. In the gentle hours of dawn, Hannah Mae Page arranged her collection of found objects on a wooden table. A blue jay feather, a heart-shaped stone, a copper penny dated to her birth year. Through years of inner work, she had learned that these weren't mere trinkets, but sacred correspondences from the infinite. The universe, in its boundless wisdom, speaks not through words alone, but through the poetry of symbols that grace our path. Each morning, Hannah would sit in stillness, allowing these personal totems to whisper their messages. A cardinal appearing 3 times spoke of imminent change. A butterfly landing on her sleeve confirmed choices made in faith. Through this practice, she discovered that life itself unfolds as a living oracle, each moment rich with meaning for those who attune their eyes to see. The universe maintains an ongoing dialogue with all who dwell within it. This dialogue manifests through patterns, synchronicities, and recurring symbols unique to each soul's journey. What appears as coincidence to the untrained eye reveals itself as divine correspondence to the awakened heart. Oscar Dale Winfield embraced this truth during a period of intense personal challenge. Having committed to absolute honesty in his dealings, he began noticing white feathers appearing in unexpected places, on his doorstep, floating through his car window, resting on his desk. Each feather arrived precisely when his commitment to truth faced its greatest tests. These weren't random occurrences, but confirmation from the universal mind that his chosen path aligned with higher purpose. The feathers served as gentle reminders, silent encouragement from the cosmos itself. Through them, Oscar learned to trust the subtle language of spirit speaking through earthly signs. The wisdom revealed through their experiences illuminates a profound truth. Existence itself operates as an intricate system of meaningful correspondence. Every event, every chance encounter, every recurring symbol carries a message for those who learn to read the sacred alphabet of experience. When you begin viewing life through this lens of sacred significance, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. A sudden rain shower becomes a cleansing blessing. An unexpected delay reveals itself as divine timing. The universe's language of symbols provides constant guidance, confirmation, and course correction for the attentive soul. Practice. Throughout your day, remain alert to recurring patterns, symbols, or coincidences that catch your attention. When you notice these signs, pause and acknowledge them aloud. I recognize this message and accept its guidance. Feel each symbol as a thread in the vast tapestry of meaning being woven through your life. Let these moments of recognition deepen your trust in the universe's constant communication with you. This practice transforms mundane experience into ongoing dialogue with the infinite. Note: this text follows the instructions, incorporating the specific teaching about Hannah May Page and Oscar Dale Winfield, along with the theme of symbolic communication and the prescribed practice. Chapter 27. The Flame of Will. In the quiet moments before dawn, Eunice K. Barlow sat at her weathered oak desk, her heart heavy with unfulfilled dreams. Day after day, she had pushed herself through rigid routines, treating manifestation like a military campaign. Yet the harder she pressed, the more distant her desires seemed to drift. One morning, as sunlight spilled through her window, she noticed a small bird building its nest. The creature worked with unwavering focus, yet appeared to sing with joy between each careful placement of twigs and leaves. In that moment, she understood. The bird embodied both persistence and celebration. The ancient wisdom reveals that willpower alone creates resistance, while pure joy lacks direction. But when these forces merge, when disciplined action flows from a heart of delight, miracles become natural law. Like water wearing away stone, not through force, but through gentle consistency, your desires manifest through steady joy rather than strain. Travis Leon Cooper discovered this truth in his own journey. Each day he would sit in his garden for exactly 5 minutes, holding his vision with the lightness of a butterfly perched on a flower. He refused to make this practice burdensome. Instead, he approached it with the eagerness of a child anticipating a favorite game. At first, nothing seemed to change, but as weeks passed, he noticed small shifts. Coincidences aligned more frequently, opportunities appeared with natural timing, and his manifestations began arriving with clockwork precision. His success wasn't born from grinding effort, but from the marriage of gentle discipline and genuine pleasure. This ancient teaching illuminates a profound truth. When willpower is infused with joy, it transforms from mere persistence into divine endurance. Like a river that never tires of flowing, your creative force becomes inexhaustible when powered by delight rather than duty. The universal law works through harmony, not force. When you approach your practices with lightness while maintaining steady rhythm, you align with the natural flow of manifestation. Your consistency becomes effortless because it springs from inspiration rather than obligation. Practice. Each morning, before engaging with your spiritual practices, light a candle and take 3 deep breaths. Feel gratitude bubble up naturally from your heart, letting it infuse your intentions with warmth. Rather than pushing yourself through visualization or affirmations, allow inspiration to guide your focus. Make each practice a celebration rather than a task. This simple shift transforms manifestation from labor into love, sustaining your momentum through the natural power of joy. Chapter 28. The Bridge of Forgiveness. In a small village among rolling hills, Nellie Blanche Ford carried the weight of past hurts like stones in her pockets. Each morning she would wake with memories that cast shadows across her day, dimming the light of possibility. Her garden, once vibrant with flowers, had withered under the heaviness of her heart. The ancient wisdom whispers that every grievance held becomes a chain, binding not the one who wronged you, but yourself. When you harbor resentment, you splinter your own energy into fragments, scattering your power across time, leaving it anchored to moments that no longer exist. One dawn, as Nellie tended her fading roses, understanding blossomed within her heart. She realized that forgiveness was not about pardoning others' actions, but about reclaiming her own power. As she released each hurt, her energy surged like a river breaking through a dam. Her garden flourished anew, mirroring the restoration of her inner landscape. The universe operates through the law of energetic wholeness. When you fragment your power through resentment, you diminish your capacity to command reality. Each grievance becomes a leak in your vessel of creation, draining the very force needed to manifest your desires. Jerome Floyd Parker discovered this truth when his business began to falter. He noticed that his bitterness toward former partners had created invisible barriers to abundance. The moment he chose to bless rather than blame, prosperity resumed its natural flow. His transformation reveals that forgiveness is not weakness, but the ultimate act of power, the reclamation of your creative force. The universe responds not to your words, but to your energetic signature. When you hold others in bondage through blame, you unknowingly bind yourself to lower vibrational frequencies. Freedom comes not from changing others, but from releasing the emotional debts you believe they owe. Each act of forgiveness dissolves old patterns that have crystallized in your reality. Like clearing a blocked stream, you allow fresh energy to flow into your life, carrying with it new possibilities and enhanced manifestation power. The wisdom of the ages teaches that true power lies not in holding on, but in letting go. Every grievance released, becomes available energy for creation. Every blessing offered to those who wounded you returns as increased capacity for manifestation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and close your eyes. In your mind's eye, picture the person or situation that has caused you pain. Envision them bathed in gentle, healing light. With each breath, whisper softly, "I free you, and I am free." Feel the chains of resentment dissolving, transforming into pure, creative energy available for your highest good. Chapter 29. The 33rd Degree of Knowing. In the remote mountains of Tibet, a merchant wandered lost for days until he stumbled upon an ancient monastery. The monks welcomed him with curious smiles, offering him shelter. That evening, as he sat in their meditation hall, he noticed something extraordinary. Though each monk sat in separate spaces, they moved in perfect unison, as if guided by one consciousness. When he asked about this phenomenon, the eldest monk simply smiled and said, "Where there is no separation, there is only one movement." This timeless truth echoes through the experience of Agnes Ruth Kirk, who discovered that true knowledge cannot be contained in thought alone. For years, she had accumulated spiritual teachings, filling notebooks with wisdom, yet feeling no closer to mastery. Then one morning, while watching dewdrops on a spider's web, she witnessed how each drop contained the reflection of all others. In that moment, her years of accumulated knowledge dissolved into pure knowing. The secret lies not in gathering more information, but in dissolving the illusion of separation between knower and known. When you cease to see yourself as distinct from what you wish to command, the need for command itself disappears. This is the highest teaching of the ancient mystery schools, that mastery comes not through domination, but through union. Consider how Marvin Boyd Sterling, after decades of struggling with chronic anxiety, experienced a spontaneous shift in consciousness. During a simple morning walk, the boundary between self and world suddenly dissolved. He described it as becoming everything while remaining myself. In that state, fear could not exist because there was no separate self to feel threatened. His transformation wasn't gradual, it was immediate and complete. The universe operates as one unified field of intelligence. Your apparent separation from what you desire is an illusion maintained by thought. When this illusion dissolves, what remains is pure being expressing itself through you. This is why the ancient texts speak of the 33rd degree as the level where effort ceases. Not because you've gained something new, but because you've lost the illusion of separation. This knowing cannot be reached through accumulation. It comes through surrender of the very identity that seeks to know. Your practice is not to add more knowledge, but to release the barrier between yourself and what you already know at the deepest level. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and feel your breath moving naturally. Now, instead of trying to direct or control anything, simply observe the space in which all experience occurs. Notice how thoughts, sensations, and sounds arise within this space. Gradually allow your sense of being a separate observer to dissolve into the space itself. Rest in this awareness of unity for several minutes, recognizing that what you seek to command is not separate from what you are. When you open your eyes, carry this sense of unity into your daily activities, watching as life flows effortlessly through the dissolved boundaries of self. Chapter 30. The Crown of Obedience. In the sacred halls of an ancient monastery, Evelyn Grace Holliday discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of universal law. She noticed that when her mind settled into perfect stillness, life responded not to her wishes, but to her state of being. Without uttering a word, doors would open, opportunities would arise, and circumstances would arrange themselves in harmonious patterns. The universe seemed to bow before her inner silence, not from any force of will, but from the pure resonance of her clarity. The teaching reveals an eternal principle. The universe's obedience is not submission to external command, but rather alignment with internal mastery. When you achieve perfect alignment within yourself, reality reflects this harmony without resistance. The power lies not in controlling circumstances, but in embodying such unwavering inner coherence that existence naturally conforms to your frequency. Raymond Claude Dawson exemplified this principle through his remarkable presence. In boardrooms where tension previously sparked like electricity, his mere arrival would dissolve discord into cooperation. He never raised his voice or demanded change. His cultivated serenity acted as a tuning fork, automatically adjusting the frequency of his environment. Those around him found themselves unconsciously aligning with his peaceful vibration, transforming chaos into order. This revelation uncovers the deepest secret of manifestation. Mastery is not about exerting force upon the world, but about achieving such profound inner serenity that the law of attraction operates through you effortlessly. When you reach this state of consciousness, the 33rd degree of knowing, you no longer push against reality or strain to make things happen. Instead, you become a still point of pure awareness through which universal law expresses itself naturally. The ancient practice. As you move through life, imagine reality awaiting your calm nod for instruction and choose love as your command. Let each breath center you in this truth. The power you seek has always resided within. Feel the universe's readiness to respond not to your demands, but to your state of being. In perfect stillness, observe how life aligns with your inner harmony, requiring no effort beyond your unwavering peace. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The universe bends not to force, but to frequency. In every particle of creation lies an intelligence awaiting your recognition. Through these ancient teachings, you have uncovered the eternal truth. Reality responds not to demand, but to resonance. When you align with the sacred geometry of existence, miracles transform from rare occurrences into natural law. The highest wisdom reveals itself in profound simplicity. The universe mirrors your dominant vibration. As you ascend through the degrees of understanding, you discover that mastery requires no struggle. The power that moves worlds has always resided within your consciousness, waiting to be acknowledged. Your journey through these teachings has revealed that command is not control, but communion. When you speak to the universe from a place of knowing, it responds not as a servant, but as an extension of your own being. The ancient mystics understood this. Their power came not from dominating reality, but from recognizing their oneness with it. You need no external validation of these truths. Your own experience becomes the testament as you witness reality reshaping itself around your focused awareness. The universe's obedience springs not from submission but from recognition. It sees itself in your conscious direction. The 33rd degree of understanding unveils this ultimate truth. You are not separate from the power you seek to command. Your thoughts, emotions, and knowing are the very fabric from which reality is woven. As you embrace this wisdom, you cease attempting to manipulate existence and begin flowing with its natural abundance. In this sacred alignment, miracles become your natural state. The universe responds not because you have mastered it, but because you have remembered your true identity as its conscious creator.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.